Have you heard of FSRA, or the Financial Services Regulatory Authority of Ontario? Let's learn more about it from Stuart Wilkinson, who is the Chief Consumer Officer at FSRA. Welcome, Stuart.
Thank you very much. I'm looking forward to the conversation.
What is FSRA?
Well, FSRA is the Financial Services Regulatory Authority of Ontario, and we are a consumer protection agency in the province of Ontario. We focus on making sure consumers are treated fairly in financial services like insurance, pensions, credit unions, and mortgage brokering.
What does FSRA do as an arm's length government agency to help consumers as well as the financial industry?
Well, we do a lot of things, and we have a multi-pronged mandate from the government. The government created FSRA and passed a law that gave us certain legislative objects that we need to pursue. And those include things like deterring fraud, promoting public education, and protecting the rights and interests of consumers. Two really important things I'd like to highlight since you've given me the opportunity. One is FSRA is really focused on listening to consumers. FSRA has established a consumer office, and that consumer office, which I lead, does lots of research and other sorts of engagement with the public interest community to better understand consumer perspectives and attitudes and try to make sure that people within FSRA are putting the consumer at the center of their decision making. So I'm very excited about that work that FSRA is doing. And the other thing that I'd like folks to be aware of is something that we recently launched called the Check Credentials tool. In Ontario, as recently as a few years ago, anybody could call themselves a financial planner or a financial advisor. That's changed. And now, in order to use one of those titles, someone has to have an approved credential from an approved credentialing body. FSRA recently launched a tool on our website that lets people check the credentials of the financial professional that they're working with. So in the time it takes you to order a pizza, you can log on to our website and make sure that if the person you're working with is calling themselves a financial planner, they have the credentials required in order to do that.
Does FSRA host any events or webinars that people can join to learn more about the various sectors?
Well, I have three answers to that. One is we very recently completed our flagship annual event, which is called FSRA Exchange. We had a big in-person gathering in Toronto where representatives from FSRA and consumers and all of our regulated sectors got together and talked about some key themes in consumer protection. So that was a fantastic event, and I'd encourage everybody to look up the FSRA Exchange event on our website and check out the videos of the event when they're posted. The second is our website also includes a listing of upcoming events, and we always try to put on a webinar when we're releasing new guidance for our regulated entities to use when they're trying to treat consumers fairly. And finally, something that FSRA is starting to do is open up calls for grant funding from third parties that may be interested in pursuing a consumer research or education initiative that's relevant to one of our regulated sectors. And hopefully we're going to have people coming to FSRA with ideas that we can fund that will help educate consumers through various events that aren't put on by FSRA, but are put on by people in the different communities in Ontario to better educate people about financial services.
FSRA is a new agency. How is it different from its predecessor?
FSRA, I like that you said new because we've got lots of room to grow. We're coming up on our 5th birthday in June of this year. We are very different from the agencies that preceded us. And I could talk about really detailed stuff around governance and things like that. But I think the most important thing to highlight is that FSRA is committed to being a principles-based regulator. And that means that we are very focused on delivering the right kind of outcomes for consumers in collaboration with the entities that we regulate. What we really want to ensure is fair treatment of consumers. So that can involve reducing burden for the entities that we regulate. It can involve asking more questions of the entities that we regulate. And ultimately, we're focused on getting the right outcomes for Ontarians.
Thank you, Stuart, for that information, and thank you for joining us.